The Tragedy of USS Indianapolis. A Story of War, Survival and Oblivion. In July 1945, as World War II neared its end in the Pacific, a heavy cruiser of the U.S. Navy sailed on a classified mission that would alter the course of history. The USS Indianapolis, under the command of Captain Charles McVay III, had just delivered the components of Little Boy, the atomic bomb that would be dropped on Hiroshima. What no one knew was that this ship was about to become the epicenter of one of the worst naval disasters in American history. On the night of July 30, 1945, while sailing toward the Philippines, Indianapolis was struck by two torpedoes from the Japanese submarine I-58, commanded by Makitsura Hashimoto. Without an escort, with no functional radar, and in the darkness of night, the ship had no chance. In just 12 minutes, the proud cruiser, which had served as the flagship of the Fifth Fleet, sank into the depths of the Philippine Sea. Of the 1,195 men on board, approximately 300 went down with the ship. The remaining 900 suddenly found themselves in shark-infested waters, with few lifeboats, scarce life vests, and no potable water. What followed was a 4-day nightmare beyond imagination. Floating in scattered groups, the sailors faced severe dehydration under an unforgiving sun, hypothermia during cold nights, saltwater poisoning when thirst became unbearable, hallucinations leading many to drink seawater or swim away, constant shark attacks, particularly at dawn and dusk. Survivors would later describe how the sharks mainly targeted the wounded, dragging them into the depths while their helpless comrades could only hear their screams. In a series of catastrophic errors, the Navy failed to notice Indianapolis's absence. Its failure to arrive at port was not recorded, and several distress signals sent were either ignored or misinterpreted. Help came only by chance when a Ventura PV-1 patrol aircraft spotted oil slicks and survivors in the water. By the time rescuers arrived, only 316 men remained alive. Of the roughly 900 who initially survived the sinking, nearly 600 had perished in the water. In a controversial aftermath, Captain McVay was court-martialed and found guilty of endangering his ship by failing to zigzag, despite the following. Zigzagging was optional under low visibility conditions. The Japanese submarine commander testified that he would have sunk the ship regardless of its course. McVay had never received intelligence regarding enemy submarines in the area. Haunted by the disaster and the accusatory letters from victims' families, McVay took his own life in 1968 using his naval service pistol, with a small sailor figurine in his hand. Only in 2000, after decades of pressure from survivors, did the U.S. Congress and President Clinton approve a resolution exonerating Captain McVay. The document acknowledged that the tragedy was the result of institutional errors, and that McVay had been unjustly blamed. USS Indianapolis has been immortalized in popular culture, primarily through the monologue of the character Quint in Jaws, 1975. Considered one of the most powerful moments in cinema. The story of USS Indianapolis serves as a stark reminder not only of the human cost of war, but also of how communication failures and institutional responsibility can magnify a tragedy. It also stands as a lesson in how institutions sometimes sacrifice individuals to protect their collective reputation. Today, a monument in Indianapolis honors the memory of the crew, while the few remaining survivors continue to keep the story alive so that it is never forgotten. The seas do not forgive, and neither should our memory.